Kevin here from the Chord Progression Podcast, the podcast inspiring young rock and metal fans to discover new music alongside helping them find a place so they can connect with others and feel accepted. On this video, we're taking a look back at our podcast with Woe Is Me. They came back after 10 years and playing the first show after that 10 years, emotions were definitely running high. So let's see what happens when I ask the guys what their emotions were like during that first show, leading up to it, and after. But before we jump into it, though, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure it goes pushing the algorithm, because that would be very nice. And hit that subscribe button over here as well, because that way you get to know more about the podcast, stay in touch with the podcast, and get to watch every single video we put out there, be notified of it, and naturally get to know about all the great bands we bring on the podcast and have new episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday. Don't miss out on that opportunity. But for now, let's get to it.
Man, I know I was actually when we played in Dallas, I was nervous walking on stage. It had just been so long, and it's kind of wild to think that the last tour I did, we were walking out in front of tops like 3,000 people, and I didn't think twice about it. I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's just Friday night, but yeah, I was a little nervous, and it was tough learning how to play again. Because it's been a long time. I sold all my stuff. So, yeah, it was a trip, man.
Yeah, man. Like, I know for me personally, dude, when we got the set list established, I had to go back and learn these songs. Like, I kept my bass guitars, but I kept them as decoration on my wall. And so I would play them like once a year, but so like when I got a set list, I was going on YouTube looking at covers of Woe Is Me to figure out how to play my own bass parts, and that was wild. I was learning my bass parts from like a 13-year-old kid, and I was like, this is awful. But I mean, for personally, that day of the show, dude, it was so emotional, man. Like, it really was. Like, all of us, I don't know if you can tell in any of the videos if you watch them live, but like all of us were tearing up walking on stage, man. Like, it was just, we all just have so much blood and sweat and time in Woe Is Me in the past, and just to have the opportunity to do it again, and just to see that crowd sitting there waiting for us. We had no idea that many people still loved like Woe Is Me and wanted Woe Is Me, and like, man, it's just when everything just kind of washes over you before you walk on stage and you see all that, like, just everything kind of overwhelms you, dude. And like, we were all ran on stage with tears in our eyes, so. It was amazing, man.
That is just an incredible thing to listen to. First off, of course, coming back after 10 years, being able to play with the guys that you formed this incredible bond with over time, because you're making music together, you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into a project, and having the ability to do it once again 10 years later, rediscover that love for it. Going out on stage, of course, there were going to be emotions that were flying, and understanding that, they're going out there on their first show, tears in their eyes, because it's not because of sadness, it's because of happiness that they get to actually do this again. I mean, think about a time when you got to do something for the first time after a long time. What did you feel like? Were you happy to go and do that? I'll still never forget the first time I got to go back up north in Wisconsin after not being going up for 6 years, because I was like, oh, I'm playing soccer in school, and then I was in college and I was working. Going back up there, it felt kind of weird, because that was the first time I was going up there without my grandma. That was the first time I was up there in like 6 years. So just see the beauty and the majesty of it, and just remembering how much fun it was as a kid up there. Like, a lot of emotions came back, so I can somewhat relate to it. Maybe not in this intense of an emotion, but you can probably do the exact same thing too with a story of your own. And it just speaks to the power of music, and speaks to the power of connection, the power of relationships that we have with people, because these guys going up on stage, you see how many people were connecting with them. I mean, they used to be going up on stage playing in front of 3,000 people. I mean, that's like a typical night right now for a band like Bad Omens. Like, they're playing, venues that are 3,000, 4,000 cap venues. These guys were doing it just as well back in the early 2010s and not batting an eye on it. And now, no matter what venue they go into, it's like they're, taking it fully in, taking it as for an understanding. But then the fact that they had to learn their parts once again, I mean, when you're off for 10 years and you're not going to be playing those songs consistently, and you have other priorities in there, of course you're going to have to learn those songs in some other way. And it's really funny, especially from Corey's perspective, having to learn to play his parts again from 13-year-olds doing YouTube covers of his songs on bass. Now, a couple of things there. First off, for all of you people doing YouTube covers and YouTube walkthroughs of your favorite bands, your favorite artists, your favorite artist might be watching that too, because they might need to relearn how to play a song that they haven't played in a while, and that's going to be the best way that they do it, because it's a visualization. They can see it. There's a connection there with a fan that really enjoys that kind of music. Is it funny to hear about that they had to do that? Absolutely, it's pretty funny. But it speaks to the fact that, how much of an impact these guys have had on their fans, how much of a positive impact they've had. And even when it comes to them coming back, the fans are still helping out in kind, not only when it comes to coming out to the shows, but, helping them relearn their parts at the same time. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys do too. I hope it brings you closer to the band Woe Is Me. Make sure you go and hit the description of the podcast. There's a link there for the entire episode with Woe Is Me. Want to make sure you hit that so you can watch the entire thing. We talk about the rest of, how they came back. We talk about them reflecting on coming back, reflecting on the old songs, new things that are coming up on the horizon, and we kind of come with a crazy business venture, so make sure you go check that out. If you want to listen to it, the audio link to the podcast as well. Hit that like button if you like this one. Hit that subscribe button and go to the comments and let me know what you thought about when Woe Is Me said, this is how we came back, this is what we felt. We had tears in our eyes, and when Corey and Ben were talking about having to relearn their parts over again. Make sure you hit those in the comments. Make sure you support the podcast. Thank you guys once again. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. As always, I'm out.